Hey Legionnaires, and welcome back with another historical battle for you today, and we are at the Battle of Albuera, which is fought between Britain, France, Portugal and Spain in part of the Peninsula campaign. And this one gets off to a really quick start, which is why we were in slow-mo. As you can see here, we already have French chasseurs, cheval and some dragoons going flying on in here against some Portuguese cavalry, and they're going in. And they're actually getting beaten back by the French currently. Well, I say that, and now the dragoons coming in has turned this around. Britain also sent in like a tiny little cavalry detachment. But yeah, the Portuguese cavalry, as soon as I say, they're doing pretty damn well. They get sent back to the abyss that they came from. But yeah, this is the Battle of Albuera, which is fought between Britain, Spain and Portugal on one side against France in 1811. It's actually an indecisive battle. It was jotted down by Wellington in history as a victory for the British, because they hold on to the field, and the French, led by Soult, are like pushed off the field. But the British do take a lot more casualties than the French, and they have a vastly much larger army. They have about 35,000 to the French 24,000. So like, for the British to take more casualties than the French and have the larger army, that shows that it was a pretty indecisive battle. It was actually a battle led by Beresford, who Wellington was not actually at this battle. He was busy at the lines of Torres Vedras against Messina. So this was a force brought up by Soult to try and relieve the army of Portugal, led by Messina, and Beresford was sent up to check Soult. And yeah, this was kind of one of the battles that kind of came from that sort of standoff between Soult and Beresford. And this is kind of like Beresford's last and only command, really, independent command anyway, because it was such a costly battle. Wellington didn't really want him in charge of any more armies, and rightly so, I guess. But yes, you can see here we have some Portuguese artillery, I guess, under British command here, and these guys are just taking chunks out of the French cavalry ahead of them. We've got a lot of dragoons. Actually got a lot of French cavalry set up over this side. We've got dragoons, got chasseurs, cheval, I'm sure, somewhere as well. A lot of dragoons actually knocking about here. I imagine dragoons are going to kind of be the most common sight we're going to see today. But there were also some Poles at this battle. I don't know whether we're going to see any Poles in this one. We have grenadiers here though. They're just blowing their tune off. We've got some dragoons over here. You've got more dragoons. Yep, just a lot of dragoons, and they have a lot of cavalry here. I mean, they've got King's German Legion Hussars, Scarlet Lancers, more horse artillery. So there is fairly decent cover for the French cavalry that is to come, but they're going to need a bit more. I think you can see the Spanish sending a lot of cavalry in this direction as well. Hussars coming up, and we already have the first line battle kind of underway. And you can see the Portuguese retreating in the face of the French. So yeah, I mean, since this was an indecisive battle in history, we could see a very interesting outcome. The French being routed back here, some Hussars Hollandais being routed by some by cavalry regiment here of the Portuguese. And you imagine the Portuguese are going to get routed here. The Portuguese were trained by the British in history, so hopefully some British sternness will have been instilled into the ranks, but it seems not in the cavalry. They are routing pretty quickly. Hopefully their infantry is as stern as the redcoats that are further down the line. We will see, with the Portuguese standing firm. But if you're enjoying seeing NTW3 on the channel and would like to see some more historical action, do remember to leave a like, subscribe if you're around here, and a comment to show your support. As always, guys, it's very much appreciated as we work towards 5,000 subscribers. I can't thank you guys enough for all the support. It's been an amazing ride so far. I'd love to see how far we can go. Yeah, we have Beresford here with a lot of, well, both of the Portuguese armies are Beresford commands. But as you can see here, Portugal, one of the Portuguese armies setting up, already putting some fire into the French as they come across this bridge. Certainly good spots to try and catch them out. What have we got here? We've got Laguerre and this general light infantry. We have got some grenadiers from the Swiss here. These guys will be pretty handy in a fight. So the French got some pretty good units available to them today. A lot of Swiss infantry actually being sent up here. The Swiss a bit out of place and not in their cold lands to the north, but here in the south, a And yeah, this Portuguese cavalry coming in, trying to take out these grenadiers, I guess. I mean, they did form a square, and the Ligero is going to get inside the square. It'll be pretty safe now. This cavalry has actually managed to get out of there alive with a fairly decent amount of men. I mean, the artillery just needs to fire on the squares when they form up like that. Make a nice, easy targets for the artillery to hit. And here we go. We now got some Chasseurs Cheval. They're coming across, and they're going to be now hit by Portuguese cav. This is the same Portuguese cav that just charged the square, so I don't know how great they're going to be really on morale. And you can see the standard drop. Seems this Portuguese cav is just not up to it. Got some Tercio unit here. Got more cavalry arriving now. Cavalry battalier being sent in. Trying to deal with this. I mean, this is we've got some lancers here. We've got some Polish lancers there. So I did say the Poles may be here today. It just seems like the Portuguese cav just can't deal with the French. They're going to need more British, maybe Spanish cav. I don't know how good the Spanish is though. So they're going to have to hope that the French don't have too much more of the cav, because it just seems like the Portuguese cav's useless. It's going to be pretty much more effective on the defensive than the offensive. And the Portuguese do got some volleys here and there. There we go, respond. I mean, Portugal's got a nice little flank going on here, and he's also ripping holes in these infantry lines with artillery. So I mean, definitely has the advantage over here. His seam has the better positioning of the French. Now we have French cav dashing across here. They're going to try and maybe go for this large group of Portuguese here, and there is artillery on this hill that is just ripe for taking. But Portugal is going to bring forward some cavalry. Try and protect his own guns, and he's actually going to run down the hill and try and take it out. And there you go, Dragoons going to try and get silenced. I mean, if they couldn't deal with the Chasseurs Cheval, I don't think they're going to deal with these Dragoons, the Portuguese. There you go, as I expected, the Portuguese cav breaks, and I guess now France can just go for the guns. I mean, the gun crews run. If they wanted to, they could just chase all the way up the hills. Luckily the infantry can form square, but that's not going to save the gun crew. Fire a volley, boys. A volley is needed. No, that gun crew's gone. I mean, they had chance. They got the gun crew off the guns. Why didn't they just go and put it inside the square if they thought that their cavalry was going to lose? Britain over here now has kind of had his flank turned. Look at this. Spain coming in with cavalry, and they're going to try and silence these small units of Chasseurs. And they've got Dragoons here as well, and they've got British cavalry here as well. Light Dragoons, they may do some damage. And we have more cavalry fighting back here. This is British and Spanish. King's German Legion Hussar being routed. And this is not a good sign. A lot of cavalry being routed here by the French, and it doesn't seem like there's much allied cav left at all. This might be one of the largest contingents left.
Sir, our general is under attack.
And the Spanish still, I don't know where they're really sending their armies. We've got more Portuguese cav here. They have managed to rout this Dragoon unit. But there's just another one ready to come up. And this is actually some Lancers. This is the Polish Lancers. And they routed them, those Portuguese cav, very easily. And as I said, the French cav is just kind of like so much more superior. But they have managed to win here of the French, have the English and the Spanish. Not that it really matters though, there's still plenty more to replace them. More Dragoons back here. Plenty of Dragoons. Just gotta hope that the infantry fight is a bit more in favour of the Allies. Have to hope and pray. If they want any hope of winning this fight. Portuguese got to stand firm. And here we go, Portuguese cav. I don't know where they're really going. I guess they're just making sure that the French stay on their side of the river. The French now having their chance to have some pot shots at the Portuguese as they reform. Actually, well, it seems both sides are going to reform. both firing across this sort of, well, it is a river. It's very much a river, but it's almost like a barrier, an invisible barrier. Neither side's allowed to cross. Neither side wants to send infantry across to try and challenge. The Portuguese infantry is starting to get pretty banged up here. This is not a good sign. But if you want to join the Discord and get involved in some NTW3 historical battles, then do feel free to do so. The link's down below in the description. All are welcome, whatever skill level you're at. Usually this group is quite more than happy to take on anyone and get them involved in battles. So yeah, if you want to get involved, links down below in the description. Feel free to come and join and stop by. Even if you don't play NTW3, you just want to get involved in some Total War action, whether it's just chatting with the Total War community or just or playing some games. More than welcome to join. Britain over here, I mean, this seems a little overkill. 3 units against 1. This is good. I mean, this is actually not so great. I was about to say this is great. King's German Legion. Horse artillery though is routing, but they nearly routed that gun. This cavalry here. I mean, I don't know why the Spanish didn't stand their ground. The morale would have said that France was going to lose that fight. Instead, Spain is going to do a runner. And still, there's more French cavalry. There's so much French cavalry just sitting around in the back here. I don't know what it's really looking for. I don't know, generals or perhaps. I don't know, but they're hunting down what remains of this Allied cavalry. Allied cavalry is now a scarcity. Look at this, French cav just punching away through the middle, getting rid of this light company, and now they're able to just look at that, run through the French and Portuguese lines like they weren't even there. I mean, I don't know where they're really going for. Maybe the Spanish lines back here. I mean, the Spanish need to get up and start fighting in the front lines. They've got lots of infantry here that's going to be needed to just replace all this Portuguese infantry once it breaks. Got Scots Guards here. These will be handy. There is still some Portuguese cav here, but not much. But look at this. Portugal's taking the offensive. He's now across on this side of the river. He's got some Caçadores here, which are like a light infantry unit. And they look like they're going to have to face the Poles. Turn and face, boys. Let's have a volley. Or not. Very well. So look at the glorious Poles. Yeah, it's always good to have the Poles here. Fighting for their independent Poland is what they want. Fighting with France. These are some elite infantry, if I remember correctly. They are pretty small units, or relatively small units, but they're very, very good. There's a lot of Portuguese troops here. If they can just open fire, they could surely overwhelm this small French force here, I would have thought. Maybe, maybe not, I don't know. Got engineers here though. I presume these guys are going to be pretty handy in a building. And we have France now charging forward with a Leger unit. He's going to slice his gun. Oh, a really nice hit there. Didn't do enough to break the French. They just countercharged one of their own units. They could probably rout this French unit. But they would have. They break the gun crew. That's not a good sign. And they did actually break themselves. I mean, I guess good trade for France, not for Portugal. Losing an artillery piece so close to the front line. Didn't protect it at all. They why didn't they move their infantry forward? Help protect it a little bit more. But France over on this left flank here is really trying to overwhelm Britain. Britain is starting to take a lot of casualties. That's why Spain is desperately trying to get troops over here. And Britain needs to close these last 4 units back across, try and help support. But this is, yeah, look at all the columns going in. So many French columns marching up. Or we can hear the cry, Vive l'Empereur! But it is nice to be back in NTW3 with some historical action. That's a really good hit over there. You look like that Portuguese unit just kind of got crumpled by the artillery piece, the artillery shots. I can hear more cavalry. Look at this! Britain's managed to sneak behind a little light dragoon unit. And he's going to go for this 8-pounder here. And it's also distracting half the French cav. And there you go. Oh my god, that guy went flying! Yes, it seems like these light dragoons here, they're going to silence this artillery piece. It's also a little bit of a win there for the British, but they are now also going to lose their cavalry, which they don't have much of. It seems like Spain's going to go in and try and take out these this cavalry here, and they are also dealing with the dragoons back here. So well done to Portugal there. He's managed to deal with them and keep his artillery alive. And also now Spain's managed to also seems to do a lot of damage to this dragoon unit here. But this seems like it's turning in favour of France now. This is not such a good sign. And yeah, there you go. Spain breaks. God damn it! It's one less cavalry unit. I don't honestly think there's any more apart from we've got one unit of light dragoons over there, the King's Chamberlains, and then you have one cavalry regiment there, and that is it. That is all I think that they have left for Allied cavalry. France seems to have just numerous amounts of cavalry, and cavalry is very handy in NTW 3. Obviously, it's very mobile. You can go after generals and artillery pretty easily, and they also can do hammer and anvils. And and you can route any, and you can just about route any unit that it charges if it doesn't form square. Luckily, most of the British can form square. I don't know about the Portuguese or the Spanish though. The Spanish certainly can't form square with most of their infantry. But if Britain gets nice and close in these line battles, he should do pretty well and it starts to do a lot of damage to the French. But as you can see over here, look at this. Portugal's really pushing hard here against the French. And he's actually drawn in a lot of cavalry here. We've got some guard capet. It sounds like they might be half decent dragoons, to be fair. The infantry here getting shot in the flank and also being charged by cavalry is a pretty damning way to go. These Cazadores might want to start thinking about forming square though. French dragoons getting scared off. I guess because they've seen the arrival of some Portuguese cav. Here we go, they're going to have a duel. I mean, this is the last real Allied cavalry. Other than that British light dragoon. So these guys are going to need support because they're going to get broken really quickly, I imagine. Yeah, they're tired anyway, yeah, and they broke very quickly. Being beaten by much fresher units of cavalry. And just like that, Portugal's now without cavalry support. But look at this. This is where it's really dangerous for France. There's an overwhelming amount of Portuguese coming across over here. There's nothing to defend against it. And if they can beat this French force, I mean, there's hope. Who's it led by? Sebastiani. I mean, no surprise there with this, since he's leading the Poles. Over here, though, I mean, we've got Soult himself. Who else do we have? I have no idea. Some other generals, probably. I'm sure they can do. They will be leading their armies. Yeah, where are the rest of the other generals for France? I have no idea. Maybe they're not cavalry generals. I have no idea. Got a grenadier unit back here. These grenadiers are going to be very key for France. Trying to break through, maybe take out some buildings if they were being used in the actual town of Albuera. But the British here doing some absolutely violent volleys right now. They are hammering into the French. And they're also flickering. Yep, and the French starting to take a bit of pain. You can see these little line infantry units coming forward. It's almost like a sacrifice. Don't know what I think it's going to achieve. We'll find out. Here we go. The British, I guess, are going to just... Yep, that broke pretty much on impact of that volley. Wonder whether the British might want to do the same as science this 3-pounder. This is kind of being wheeled up to just gun down their formations at point-blank range. I'm trying to keep an eye on this formation here, see where the Portuguese can manage the flank. Can they charging going on? Oh, French have got cavalry way in behind here, and they managed to rout though. Yeah, they have. They managed to rout the Spanish General Blake here. Not very Spanish name, but they managed to break him. That's not a good sign. Spain's infantry sucks as it is, let alone how it's going to be when it's got no general. It's going to have even less morale. Portugal now is desperately trying to hold on, fighting against such a strong enemy. There you go, France is doing a lot of damage on this side. This little flank that was going on with Spain and Portugal's kind of just been reduced to nothing by a couple of units of Chasseurs Cheval, really, and this is the damage that can be done with a couple of units of cavalry. When you have cavalry superiority, you can just reduce infantry flanks like this. Infantry's going to be constantly quaking in its fear. You can see behind as well, there's a little Polish cav unit here, and you can see that Portuguese having to keep some units just back, just to keep an eye on them. Shows the damage. And here he is, Beresford himself, British officer who was assigned to command and also organise the Portuguese army. He's just watching his masterpiece that was the Portuguese army. He's kind of get reduced in front of him right now. How Britain and Spain over here have now kind of combined together. I mean, they're getting just constantly hammered by dragoons now, the Spanish. This is not good. Spanish infantry, I just hate it. It's just so bad. People go, oh, it could be used a bit, like, correctly, like, en masse and stuff like that, but I've just never seen it work. The British are now forming a square on the edge, and they've decided that they will take the flank, and that's probably the smartest thing they can do. Britain still has a tiny little unit out here. Get these Royal Irish foot back to the main army. They are needed back here. Every gun is going to be needed on the front line. This is where I have hope for the Allies. The British seem to do a lot of damage over here, but they also lost a lot of men themselves. This is a pretty bloody spot in the battle line. Here, I mean, the British seem to they're outgunned as it just goes on. It looks worse and worse for the Allies at the moment. It's not looking so great. And look at that, a lot of routing. It's just this goddamn cav. Goons coming in. Routed Portuguese unit after Portuguese unit. They really need to assassinate like a general themselves. Do the Allies, but they have no cav left. I'm pretty sure now. I'm pretty sure that the light dragoons gone for this British. Oh no, it's still here. It's been just, I don't know what's happened to it. It's just getting like sniped by other infantry. I have no idea. Another charge into the back here. The Spanish just can't deal with this. None of these units can form square. Oh, this one could actually.
Our men are running, sir.
That's a bit of hope, but I don't think it's going to be enough to stop these hussars. And here we go anyway, it doesn't matter, because there's another unit of cavalry ready to come in. There's just so much cav for the French. There you go, routed that unit. Here we go. Finally, this British light dragoon is going to get mobilized, and maybe they can stop some of these pesky French dragoons. I don't know. They might need some infantry support. I would have thought the light dragoons aren't going to be able to beat regular dragoons of France, but who knows? No, it seems like, yeah. I mean, also there's another dragoon unit coming in to help, and they've just sandwiched the British, and that's the final Allied cav unit gone. And also, there's most of this right flank gone as well. You can see the British are the only ones left. Everything else for the Spanish basically broke, because it can't form square. And it's just unfortunate. It's just unfortunate. And look at this! The French managed to beat everything here, and they were almost encircled. Now Beresford is running for his life. Well, I say running. He's taking his time getting through this
Our men are running, sir.
through the river, and it's going to cost him his bodyguard. He needs to be careful. Run, Beresford. Oh, and he's broken. God damn it. So that's one of the Allied armies gone. All that remains is two just Portuguese line infantry. The rest are just dead. That's a real shame because I felt like this flank over here, they had hoped to beat it. Like these French units are nearly done. If it wasn't for the cav, you think they could have maybe been might have been okay. Got more cavalry in here, just more dragoons spearheading every French push at the moment. And there, here we go. The British need to form square. They need to really form square soon. At least this one did. I mean, with the French just going to come forward now with their infantry, they're just going to pour infantry fire onto this. I mean, they need to get moving again. Look, they did break that cavalry unit. That's one less, I guess, to deal with. But the French aren't going to hold up there. They're now going to charge them in column. And the British, that unit's going to break pretty instantly. Hadn't quite recovered from the cavalry charge. All this does is slow down the British. Doesn't allow them to rejoin their comrades. They are out. That's not good. Britain has got to hold on. They've got it. They're the only ones with any sort of hope of beating and besting the French infantry. But already, as you can see, as you look on the map, Allied lines are shattered. It looks like Britain is going to lose at the moment, unless they can turn it around in the streets of Albuera. I mean, you've got French cav being beaten here, backed by Portuguese infantry. It's a good sign. Already the duels are starting to begin over here. We've got some infantry over here. It is now joining against the French. There we go. I mean, look at this. Britain is just getting murdered. Murdered. King's German Legion all routing. We've got one lone King's German Legion is trying to form square. I mean, when it does that though, it's just now an easy target for French infantry. Now, yep, it breaks. Some of these may return, but they're never going to be the same unit. I mean, I'm surprised that this dragoon here has not just been harassing them as they run. It seems like the final defense is going to be the town of Albuera itself. They're going to go charging in. The Swiss are here. These usual pacifists are now fighting for the French Emperor. Fighting against the Portuguese. This little Spanish unit's going to sneak on in. Or try to. I say little, it's over 100 men. And amazingly, these two Portuguese units are going to have snuck back all the way from over here, being chased by Sebastiani's army, and they're going to get back to this town of Albuera. The British are trying to reform some sort of line over here, but it's going to be a bit desperate. They're being assaulted on multiple sides by cavalry and infantry, so they have no choice. Either they have to try and form square and also stay in line. It's these dragoons, the Garde Capet, they seem to be the really nasty ones. And this one, to be fair, Calencor's, like, cavalry seems to have done pretty well. Oh, this is another Guard one here, another Garde Capet. It's a much more beaten up one, but still alive, doing damage. What have we got here? Carabiniers, Laguerre. So another pretty good unit here. These guys all live in their bear skins, dueling with the Portuguese infantry in there. Put a volley into this dragoon. How dare it stand so close? Give it a volley, boys. Oh no. Or fire at the French infantry coming towards you. Yeah, this is not looking good. Albuera is barely going to get held on to. Yeah, they're just been gunned down. And they're outgunned here. It's 3v1. These poor Portuguese, they weren't quite ready. Look at this. Britain is getting forced away from Albuera. And there you go. Cavalry getting in amongst them. That is probably going to be the final nail in the coffin for that British force there. I mean, this one's going to... The Queen's Own German here is going to form square. But it will now be alone. It's the final unit. I don't know what happened to Britain's general. I have not even seen Britain's general, so I'm not even quite sure. A lot of the Allied generals, I think, have just, like, disappeared. I've only seen Beresford. He routed. Another unit over there. There's some French cabinets, like, way off in the distance. French and Portuguese fighting in the streets. Portugal looks like he's going to hold on just about again, only for France to send him some Poles. Polish line infantry, a bit more elite now, being sent over, and they're being gunned down in the back by all sorts. The Spanish are desperately trying to set up around this building as well. France has managed to win here. Portugal has also decided to just charge out, accept his death. He's going to try and take down this elite Carabinieri unit with him. I don't think it'll be enough, though. I do not think it's going to be enough. And now you can see that the French are trying to assault this building. We've got some line infantry going in. And the Poles did break. At least they broke some of the Poles, but yeah, the cavalry here just rear charging that. Portuguese line infantry seeing that off. But that is going to be the battle, really. It's not even really been much of a contest, unfortunately. It didn't really feel like the Allies had much of a chance. Whether the French should have taken smaller armies, I don't know. But maybe make it even up a bit. Or maybe just another British army instead of the Spanish. The Spanish didn't really do much. It is kind of more of a... though the Spanish were there, it's more of a Portuguese than a British sort of victory. Well, not even victory, but like battle. See, these guys are all going to break. These engineers in here. That's a shame. And the general's been killed somewhere. Oh, he was in his building, I guess. I didn't even think of that. And there you go. The building's been lost. The French have taken it, and now there's just that Spanish unit, I think, over there that needs to be broken. And to be honest, they might break just this artillery crew. I bet they could break it with just the artillery crew. They're going to try. They're going to desperately try. And if they can get off a volley before... no, they won't. But I would not be surprised if the Spanish broke. Look at that morale. It's not good. Yep, the Spanish broke, and the French did. But the Spanish did break. I mean, I guess that's kind of good, because I didn't really want to have to see the French just chase the Spanish across half the battlefield. But that is going to be the battle, as you can see. There is no more Allied troops on the battlefield. There's a defeat for the Allies. And, yeah, there was just no hope. No hope. I don't think, really, for the Allies to even win that one. It was a pretty decisive battle. I mean, the French armies are much smaller, though. Well, most of them are much smaller. That is kind of usually the case. They're much smaller, but much more elite. But anyway, this one was sent in by Johnny Le Buffoon, who's playing as one of the Portuguese armies. He actually did pretty well, getting 1,100 kills, nearly 1,200 kills. Then you have Mosley playing as Britain, getting near to 1,400. You got the King of Gondor playing as the other Portuguese army, getting nearly 700, going on 800 kills. Then you got Bemis, who couldn't even get 400. That shows how poor the Spanish is. They're just not a great faction, I don't think. If people say, oh, if you play them well, they can do well. No, I don't think so. And then you got Chaslock here, who's playing as Sebastiani with his Poles and the rest of his French troops. Then we have Extinction playing as one of the Salt armies, I guess. And then I think they all were playing as Salt after that. Extinction, Sniper Smith, and Arn Lego. But there you go, guys. That is today's battle. We'll quickly have a look at some of the unit stats. 125 kills for this like engineer unit in here, and then you've got some infantry within like 98, but nothing really insane. But yeah, if you enjoyed the Battle of Albuera and would like to see more historical scenarios, whether it's in the Peninsula War or whether it's just generally in the Napoleonic Wars, let me know in the comments which ones you want to see. And until next time, Legionnaires, I will see you in the next one. Bye.